Oh, wow. Oh, the limp. So no, Guilbert is almost certainly going to raise a limp. And I would expect Gulas almost certainly to re-raise the raise of his limp.
We can see that it could work to perfection.
With stacks of about 40 bigs, again, this seems like a spot. It's probably going to be something around 4x, which is what he does. And he apparently keeps on wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, keeps adding to that, to that stack and then puts it in the middle. About 6.8 million with about 14 behind.
Guilbert here can't be happy to see this because the limp re-raise kind of makes King Queen suited not such a strong hand anymore. That said,
like 14.
Still King Queen suited.
Sans a read, heads up.
Yeah.
This hand is almost certainly, normally too strong to fold here. But if
all of it.
So he'd
call.
And here we go.
Yeah.
If Guilbert can find a way, he's our World Series of Poker Europe main event champion. Jack in the window. Comes Jack 6-3 with one spade, a couple backdoor draws for Guilbert. But he needs a queen as of this moment. Turn card is a king. And Guilbert still needs a queen. And the river is a 5. Gulas has taken the chip lead.
We're going to see how this car salesman with the chip lead right now can handle this very accomplished pro and Johan Guilbert.
Guilbert raising here with ace-4.
Seems like we'll see a flop.
Yeah, certainly a playable one in the form of the Jack-9 offsuit.
Probably won't 3-bet. Yep, just happy to see a flop.
2.5 million in the pot, as you can see on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're new to this broadcast, ace in the window.
Ooh.
9 behind it, which could prove troublesome for Gulas.
Yeah, middle pair. Heads up. You know, gonna certainly not fold. If he's doing anything other than wasting time, which, you know, to delay his sizing, he could be thinking about a small raise, but, you know, call seems the most reasonable play to me.
Yeah, happy to take the check call route. And really happy to see the Jack of clubs show up on the turn.
Very interesting card because it also brings a double flush draw. So, you know, Guilbert here, after min betting the flop, okay, checks back, which will end up saving him a lot of chips most likely. He might be thinking my opponent doesn't have an ace very often, so maybe he'll bluff hearts or has hearts. You know, decides to value bet. I'm sort of okay with either decision here. Clearly value betting is fine, but I could also reasonably, you know, what he is thinking is, would my opponent really value bet a pair of 9s here? You know, I have an ace, my kicker doesn't even play. So if my opponent has ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 10, they all beat me. Hearts got there. You know, the tricky part becomes he min bet the flop. Potentially other hands that would make sense.
No hearts
wow,
in
he
his
finds
hand
the
if we're
fold.
trying to argue for the fold in some form, and Guilbert does indeed fold the aces.
Yeah, they probably both have played the best at this final table. I'm assuming Guilbert has been playing great, even though I have no idea what he's doing.
But he's here, so
here.
We're going to say...
These guys could not stay out of each other's way, and here they finally have what they want. All right, a limped pot to the flop, and Guilbert comes through, but not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, Gulas does have that open-ended equity, but you wouldn't really want to complete the straight with a heart.
The dealers have been doing a fine job in making it very difficult on these players to figure out exactly what to do, giving everybody equity, a lot of equity. All right, I'm going to go into poker lingo here and say that Gulas is peeling one more time just to see
Yeah, you certainly don't want to bet fold the straight draw.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, maybe he just knew the 6 was going to come
Oh.
right in for him. No waiting. You probably want to go a little bit bigger on the sizing. You figure that Guilbert has a pretty strong hand because he did take a check raise line on the flop, so you're probably going to get quite a bit of value from the strong part of Guilbert's range. Really have to find a way to somehow realize that flush draw equity.
By the way, I'm going to say this one time and one time only about the pace of play issue that's come up last time, this time. There's a lot of evidence of how much they tanked.
Oh, wow, 4 hearts. You know what, we're gonna, sometimes it's the dealer, but sometimes it's the YouTube chat. The YouTube chat was calling for a heart all the way. So you guys have done it. You guys have done it. Congratulations.
Back and forth, and Guilbert with the 4 of hearts on the river, stealing this hand back.
The problem is that river card fills in all the draws, but sometimes potentially your opponent will bet when all the draws come in, trying to represent it without actually having it. Guilbert bets half his stack.
An aces versus kings moment here now for Gulas. He maybe feels what Guilbert has, but can he do what he needs to do? He couldn't fold the kings earlier on.
Oh, I wouldn't have folded the kings earlier on.
No.
And right here, I wouldn't fold this either if he calls.
Yeah.
It was going to be very, very close, yeah. Because it'll be a 30 million chip pot going to Guilbert, and
31
might
million
even be,
left for
it
Guilbert.
should be just about even.
And there
Good
is
call.
the call. And there is the flush, and things have changed drastically once again in this heads-up battle.
Goulash, looks like he's cutting out a re-raise with this ace-5.
Up for grabs here between these two from the largest ever World Series of Poker Europe main event. Wow.
Oh no.
Ace is up for Guilbert.
I'd love to see either one of these guys win, and you got to really respect again Gulas's ability to bounce back from that cooler. It did leave him with more than 30 big blinds, so it was workable, but it's just so easy since he was at the top or second top stack all day long to just lose your mojo and lose your whole game when you get knocked down that far. And he didn't lose the mojo. He fought back in great fashion.
It is kind of a rocky story. I mean, there's the local guy, you know, fighting in his hometown against the #1 player in France right now, and a guy who has played against the best players. He's bought in with the biggest tournaments, you know, around the world, and he has all he can handle with this car salesman here from the Czech Republic.
Guilbert electing to check it over to Guilbert. Does he want to bet, give his ace-jack some protection from perhaps that flush draw, now feeling like he's in the driver's seat with this hand?
Well, Guilbert handed Guilbert the shovel, and it looks like he's digging deeper here now as he sees the check and then bets $1.9 million.
When you
But
dig,
still
there's
a tiny bet.
There's only one direction to dig, Lon, even with that shovel taking really tiny
Little tiny
bits of dirt.
It takes a lot of little
So at least half pot on the bet that if you check
to be a technical check
a real
raise.
check raise. Okay.
We'll rewrite the record books before this night is over.
Yeah.
But here it comes anyway.
Yeah, I think this sizing is really just what got Guilbert in trouble because, you know, if you don't want to auto call this type of check raise with your hand, then perhaps sometimes checking back and exercising some pot control is fine.
And there is the fold with ace-jack. He took his time, and Guilbert Jr. has to feel a little cheated as he gets that 22 million chip pot.
Yeah, and I think you have to give credit to both of these players that regardless of how tired they feel or maybe how dejected they might feel based on some of the swings that have gone on, neither one of these players are just willing to punt or, you know, give up easily. All of these players today actually showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of battle, especially the short stack.
It seems like just when you're starting to lag a little bit, you end up with 7 tray, and then you flop better than your opponent. It gets a little adrenaline back in your system. Guilbert betting the pair of deuces. Now Gulas, who had checked middle pair, faced with a min bet.
Guilbert trying to pick up a little momentum here. He's picked up a couple of small pots. And I thought to get something going here.
Do you see players, in essence, tipping their hand when they get tired, and not physically, but you know, they just get a little sloppy in their emotions and
Yeah,
whatever.
definitely. You can only kind of be maintaining that rigid composure for so long.
No, 2 pair on this board will give him a little boost. Gulas betting the river to the tune of 3.4 million.
Just feels like Gulas has a very clear value bet with a 1 pair, top pair type of hand. So Guilbert really being pretty optimistic to think that a pair of deuces is a good bluff catcher in the spot.
Wow.
Call with just the pair, and he runs into 2 pair. This is a man in pain. This is a man trying to figure out what to do. He's been playing his heart out, and he keeps getting pipped by that car salesman across the way there.
6.6.
Ace 8 now for the chip leader. Small pocket pair for Guilbert.
Yeah, this is the type of hand where I could see all the chips going in just because of how short Guilbert has gotten.
All in?
Gulas all in, and Guilbert does call with the smallest of pocket pairs. So Guilbert looking to get some traction, but he's up against the ace 8, and so now just a clean board away for that man, Gulas Jr., to win this Europe main event bracelet. Deuces at risk. Clean so far. You see the outs to end it for Gulas. 7 of diamonds on the turn. And here is the river card. And it is an 8! The car salesman is the World Series of Poker Europe main event champion. Go figure.